We got a few objectives today. To begin with, we are in the great state of Washington. We're going to be leaving Washington within a few days. We're going Idaho bound. Beside me is Highway 2. We're going to be following Highway 2 today to get to an abandoned town site as well as a stamp mill. And then after that, we're seeing an old pioneer cemetery, and literally everything we find on the side of Highway 2 is what we're going to be looking at. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Beside me is Highway 2 going off this way. I left you guys in my last episode at this camping spot, and it's been an amazing camping spot. We got a lot of driving to do to get to Objective 1 today, an hour and 12 minutes. Yeah, this is the town. So it was a gold town. I didn't know it was a mining town. I haven't been able to research it due to not having cell service, but you could pause and read the screen. All of this is the history of it. By 1910, about 40 people lived here. Okay, so it was basically a boom town. Awesome place, which I don't think any of the hotel or the school or any of this type of stuff exists now. It's all basically abandoned. Let's look around though. We'll see. Yeah. There really is not anything from what I could see of the town currently. It's basically all gone. I did find one remain of the past, not quite when the town was abandoned, but this is the old bridge before. See, this one's a new bridge, they installed that, but this used to be the road. You can see it's all cemented on that side as well as this side, which this does not look, it comparatively doesn't look that old. That's where the bridge sat. Really neat spot. At least we got to see some sort of remain. Now the stamp mill should be over this way as well as the cemetery. Supposedly there's a cemetery somewhere along this stretch between the town site and the highway. I'm not seeing it, but I did find the stamp mill, which we will go have a look at real quick. I do see a sign on it that might be a no trespassing sign. Right off the bat, you could already see this is all flattened out, intentionally flattened out. This was the mining section. So basically where we seen that sign and the, like that whole flat area with the bridge is across the street going straight over this way. And then across from the highway on this section, this is the mining section of the ghost town. So we had the residential section and now we have the mining section, which is posted no trespassing. We can get a view of the stamp mill though, which that's the road I went up to get to this. The stamp mill is on this side. There's also the remains of a building going straight ahead. But this was it. This was the mill for this gold mine. This was the first level. This reminds me of kind of going back to my old videos, because what we're doing right now is checking out an abandoned mill. Going up the levels, which once we hit the no trespassing sign, we will have to turn around. But this looks really neat. A lot of remains, and of course, since it's Washington, a lot of this is privated land. That's what I like about Nevada, is when you go to these ghost towns, a lot of time you're not going to have issues with private property because it's all public land. All the stacked rock, just the work they put into that. The stamp mill itself. This was a really neat mill to see. It definitely reminds me of frickin' back when we would do all kinds of abandoned places. This kind of brings back the same theme of going throughout Nevada. But this time, we're not in Nevada. We're in Washington. This is my first abandoned place in the state of Washington. Probably the only abandoned place until I return, because I don't know if we're going to see anything else that's abandoned. There's not too many ghost towns or abandoned places within the state, unfortunately. One of the old mill buildings, possibly some sort of storage or workshop equipment room. That's what this is. This is not a road. This was one of the buildings, and yeah, I'm not seeing a cemetery, which I already drove on this, and it just backs up to where those vehicles were parked. And that's definitely the end of the equipment section, so there won't be any cemetery on that side. Honestly, don't know where this cemetery would be. Really neat remains, and just look how this tree's resting right on top of this old ghost town remain, where it's kind of growing out like that. While I can't find this cemetery, what I do know is that if I continue up the highway, there's a second cemetery that is not in relation to this ghost town, known as the Scotty Creek Cemetery, which is an abandoned cemetery in the mountains. So I believe that's about 5 miles away going up the highway. One lonely grave on the side of the road. That's how you know we're getting close to the cemetery. Matt King, killed September 23rd, 1892. Gone but not forgotten. And it appears there's a plaque, which this is the grave of Pat King. We don't know if Pat was female or male. The majority of stories state that Pat was male, 19 years old. His wagon had a broken wheel and axle, so when he went to fix it, it fell and crushed him. And that's how he died. This is still very much an active mining area. There's a lot of mining claims. I've been passing a bunch of these signs, and just a lot of miners will come out on the weekends and stuff and just mine away and see if they could find anything at the mines. So it's not totally abandoned. Even on this road, I passed at least a dozen of those signs of different owners and claims and whatnot. It's a chill vibe. This gives me mad Colorado vibes. This part of Washington, once I was going down to pass, it's like, man, it doesn't look like we're in Washington. It looks like we're in Colorado right now. This looks just like Colorado. Unfortunately, we haven't found either cemetery, so I guess today's just not a cemetery day per se. With that being said, we'd still seen an awesome stamp mill, a ghost town, and that's what I wanted to do today, was just see some abandoned stuff. You know, I was like, hey, I kind of want to see something that's abandoned, some histories, you know. Washington is incredibly diverse in that, and as we go down to Mountain Pass, we're going to be entering a desert. Like, who thinks of Washington and thinks of a desert? You know, you think of the trees, you think of all that and the rain, but it's just the complete opposite once you go over the Mountain Pass. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Today, I got to get caught up, and I got work to do, freaking sign some signatures, you know, get some textbooks. That's not fun stuff. It's just a bunch of work type stuff, which means I'm heading up this road because there's some campgrounds further up that I found, which are free camping. Awesome. I could log on, get my hotspot going, and get all that boring stuff done, stuff you don't want to watch. But every day is an adventure. Every day you always have, even if it's not a full day adventure like today, you always have those little moments where you get to go out and have fun. And that's what today was. We were able to go out and see all this amazing stuff. The rest of today's just lame stuff. Fortunately, that's it today. Be sure to put a like, comment down below, subscribe. And I'm going to continue through Washington, and we'll be Idaho bound.